Hello everyone, Chaos here, and welcome to another old-school RuneScape video. Today, my revamped 1 to 99 thieving guide. As the name implies, the main purpose of thieving is to steal items from NPCs and the chests around RuneScape. This is done for either tons of experience but not as much loot, or not as much experience per hour, but chances at expensive items you can sell. Thieving is by far one of the most click-intensive skills in the entire game that requires a fair bit of attention. This is compensated with being one of the fastest skills in the game, as endgame methods can reach upwards of 250,000 experience per hour. If you enjoyed this video, you would help me out tremendously by subscribing with notifications on, dropping a fat like, and you could even become a channel member with the join button below for tons of perks, including instant access to our Discord. These are all the quests that provide the thieving experience as of the time of making this video. Remember that some of them have a thieving level requirement, and you may not be able to do them right away. Thieving falls in the middle of quests for which it's mandatory to speed up the early game, and not doing quests for experience. We will only be doing 3 quick ones for the initial levels, but that's all we need to get the experience per hour rolling at a decently fast pace. Thieving actually has many quest and diary requirements when it comes to either unlocking training methods, or give you that extra push you need in order to enjoy more experience per hour. This is a pretty comprehensive list of all of them. The very first quest I recommend is called The Feud. This unlocks a method by the name of blackjacking, which is extremely click intensive, but one of the fastest ways to train the skill on your way to that shiny thieving cape. I never thought I would include a free-to-play quest for these requirements, but by completing the Prince Ali rescue quest, you will unlock the Sorceress Garden, which is the most AFK way to train the skill. Just make sure to manage expectations. Partial completion of Iclarin's Little Helper is needed to access the desert city of Sophanim. Inside, you will be able to take part in an activity called Pyramid Plunder, which has been one of the best ways to train the skill for a long time. We've needed Sins of the Father for runecrafting, agility, woodcutting, mining, and it makes a triumphal return as we will need to enter the vampire city of Darkmere to pickpocket buyers. It can be a little frustrating, but pretty lucrative. The final major quest needed to unlock a training method is Song of the Elves. Briffinus has a bunch of elves you can pickpocket for a decent source of experience, but mostly for an expensive item we will look at in a few minutes. For things that aren't quests, we will start with 15% Hosidius Favor. Achieving this will let you get started with Fruit Stalls, which has been a staple early game training method for quite a long time. Get working on that favor as soon as possible. Also for the continent of Tzhaar, we will need 75% Piscarilius favor for an activity called Stealing Artefacts. This provides great experience per hour, and it's actually pretty entertaining compared to other methods we will check out. And finally, for favor-related requirements, you will need 60% Archaeus favor to be able to use a spell called Shadow Veil in the Archaeus spellbook. I will talk more about it in the items category, as it better suits to be mentioned there. For diaries, I recommend both the medium and the hard tier of the Ardy Achievement Diary. By completing them, you gain extra 10% chance of successfully pickpocketing NPCs in Ardy and all of RuneScape respectively, and it's mandatory later on. The very last requirement is a fire cape. Now, I know it sounds weird, but hear me out. By owning one of these, you have access to the Tzhaar city of Mor Ulrek, where you can find NPCs to pickpocket for a lot of experience and loot. But more on that later. Praise Saradomin, that was probably the longest quest list I've had done so far. And now we jump onto recommended items, which is also fairly chunky, but you will want to pay attention to maximize your loot and experience per hour. It should be a bannable offense to train thieving, more specifically pickpocketing, without the rogue's outfit. By wearing the full set, you will double loot from pickpocketing, and I will quickly explain how to get it later. The Gloves of Silence are made from dark Kebbit fur, and will provide an additional 5% success chance when pickpocketing. Every time you fail, they will lose 1 charge, and after 62 unsuccessful pickpockets, they will be destroyed. Dodgy necklaces are made from silver bars and opals, and by wearing them, there's a 25% chance that you will not be stunned when you fail to pickpocket. This has 10 charges and will also lose them when you fail to steal from NPCs, crumbling to dust. The last thing on our list is not an item, but rather a spell. Like I said before, Shadow Veil is unlocked at 47 magic in the Archaeus spellbook. When you cast it, there's a 15% chance not to be stunned by an NPC if you fail a pickpocket. It stacks multiplicatively with a dodgy necklace, bringing the total percent up to 36.25. It's always nice to bring it with you. Just like Fishing and Hunter, most of the plugins used for thieving are relevant to their respective training method and won't aid you all around the game. Just make sure to have these active when you decide to stick to one of the methods coming up. The Rogue's Den plugin will help you navigate through the maze quicker to get your rogue's outfit in the most efficient way possible. Getting to the end will be a matter of RNG to get a crate of the piece of the outfit, so that's a different story. The Stealing Artefacts plugin will help you, well, steal artifacts more easily around Piscarilius. You could substitute this with ground markers eventually, but it's always nice to have that extra visual aid. Get yourself the one-click Summer Garden plugin for us to train thieving in the quote-unquote most AFK way possible. It's a great way to make this activity a walk in the park, and it also comes with audio cues to make it even easier. Also for visual cues, the Pyramid Plunder plugin will be great if you decide to train at the Sophanum Pyramid. Once you get the hang of the plugin, it won't be life or death, but it's way too convenient for you to turn it off along the way. Menu Entry Swapper can help you change a left-click option on some NPCs we will pickpocket from, and it is going to be an absolute must for blackjacking, as I will show you later on. It has been a great plugin for a lot of these guides so far. Last but not least, go to your Timers plugin and activate the option called Pickpocket Stun Timer. This will let you know when you break free from the stun after you fail to steal from an NPC, but ideally you'll be spam clicking all the time. Okay, those lists were absolutely massive, so let's get on with the methods right away. You are going to do the quests Biohazard, Haziel Cult, and the Fight Arena to go from levels 1 to 20. The last two quests require a little bit of combat, but people normally do these quests on fresh accounts with as little as 7 magic to use the Fire Strike spell and get the fights over with quickly. Doing so will skip the painful early game, but if you don't want to do it, I will have alternative training methods towards the end. When it comes to actually training, we are going to have humble beginnings at Ardy. Go to this specific tile and then spam click the bakery stall for you to get from levels 20 to 25. You won't be here for a long time, and you could even do this from level 5 if you need low level food. It will go by even quicker if you drop all the items, but it's always nice to keep all those cakes. We are then going to this location in Tzhaar and look for an empty world where you can steal from fruit stalls in this house. By stealing from both stalls, you can get upwards of 40k experience per hour if you drop all of your items quickly, so you'll be here around 3 hours for our next milestone, which is level 50. Not too terrible, but it pretty much sets the precedent for what the entire skill is all about. I have never directly told you to grind for a specific skilling outfit in any of these guides until now, and we are going to pop the cherry with a rogue's outfit. By wearing the full outfit when pickpocketing, you get double loot, so training thieving without it on your way to 99 is literally griefing yourself. You don't get any experience from doing this, but it's almost like training runecrafting without the pouches. Check out the link in the description if you want to learn how to get it quickly. We are now going to do something a little different. Starting at level 50, I will tell you when training methods are recommended to do, and you can see the roadmap in the end of the video for a few suggestions I have for you to get to level 99. Or you can do all of these in whatever order you feel like. The reason for this is that all the following methods, even the alternative ones, are pretty competitive for experience per hour, and you could even stick to one or two you find particularly enjoyable. I will still tell you the approximate experience per hour and the general setup to follow. You can pickpocket Master Farmers at level 43, but like other skills, unlocking a training method doesn't always mean it's going to be efficient right away. I recommend level 50 to start pickpocketing them with your rogue's outfits, and this is particularly useful for an Iron account looking for early game seeds. You can get between 30 and 50k experience per hour, which might be less than fruit stalls on average, and that's because you can get stunned for failing, which could make it a bit slower. With the required Piscarilius favor, you can start stealing artifacts at level 49, which I recommend doing until level 65 or 71. Talk to Captain Khalid in this big building, and he will tell you to steal something from one of the houses in the western part of the town. For this, I simply recommend Graceful, as many stamina potions as you want. Once in one of the houses, with your lockpick, steal from the location marked in the Runelite plugin, and simply run back to Captain Khalid while avoiding the guards. This is a lot easier said than done, and this is why you will have to strategically maneuver around the docks in order not to be caught. You can see a few live runs of me doing this in the link in the description. If you are caught by the guard, they will take away your item, and you will have to talk to Captain Khalid for another assignment. If you make it back successfully, he will give you a chunky drop of experience, and simply, you have to do it again. You'll be getting between 100 to 150k experience per hour depending on your performance, and an amazing method on your way to more demanding activities. After the few quests, and when having the full rogue's outfit, another option would be to knock out and steal from Polnivnich Bandits. Since you finished the quest, you should know the basics, but for all you quest helper warriors, here's a little refresher. Equip any blackjack, lure an NPC to a house where nobody else is, and then left click to knock them out, followed by 2 quick pickpockets. They will then wake up, and you have to knock them down again to repeat the cycle. This also sounds simple enough, but your wrists will pay the ultimate price. Anyway, bring noted food with you along with the money you have stolen from them, and if you run out of food from failing, sell your items to the general store in town, and then buy them back, essentially unnoting the items. Statistically speaking, it is better to train with artifacts until level 65, but if you want to prepare for what's coming, you could always get a few levels here with a chunky 100 to 120k XP per hour. Things start ramping up at level 65, and this is where you can do exactly the same process, but this time with Meta 5 thugs. Simply put, the dudes in purple clothing. Not much needs to be said here other than if you fail to knock out or pickpocket by accident, they become aggressive, and you can simply climb up the stairs of any building you are in for them to lose aggro. Either that or just run away and come back once they have been distracted. If done properly, you can gain upwards of 180k experience per hour at level 65, gradually going up every few levels because you'll be missing a lot less. Do this until 71, 81, 95, or even 99. The only way to somewhat AFK train thieving is by doing the Summer Sorceress Garden, for which you need level 65 as well. After completion of Prince Ali Rescue, talk to this NPC in the house southeast of Alcarid. After a bunch of dialogue, she will teleport you to the activity, and this is where the fun begins. The general idea is to make it through a maze as you avoid patrolling ghosts to make it to the center and steal fruit. But being old school RuneScape, we can exploit this. With a plugin called One Click Summer Garden active, you will see numbers on top of the ghosts. This means the amount of times you need to be caught by that specific ghost for it to be in cycle. In cycle for what, you may ask? Just run towards the center and let them catch you until they all have a 0 on top of them. Then, stand on this blue tile near the entrance, and you can even have an audio cue for you to click the tree. If you don't want the audio cue, click on the tree when the first ghost is on top of the second blue tile while it is moving away from you. With the proper timing, you will bypass all the ghosts, needing a single click to make it through the maze. Once you grab a fruit, you will go back to the main area. When you have 2 summer squirts, use a pestle and mortar on any of them, and with beer glasses on your inventory, you will make 1 squirt juice. Once your inventory is full of them, take them to Osman, or this NPC near of the Alcarid Palace, for a chunky drop of experience. And speaking of, you won't be getting more than 140k experience per hour at peak performance, but you only need 2 clicks per run. It makes this the least click-intensive way to train thieving as of the time of making this video. I would recommend try the Ardy Knights level 70 and above, because just like Master Farmers, if you start pickpocketing them as soon as you unlock them, you are going to have a miserable time. Join a friend's chat called Thieving Host to see where people are splashing on the Ardy Knight so you don't have to move too much. Take your Gloves of Silence, Dodgy Necklaces, Shadow Veil, and some food for one of the most effortless yet click-intensive methods in the entire game. You will be getting around 100k XP per hour at level 17, jumping to around 150 to 170 at levels 85 and above. We will come back to these in a second. You can get started at the Pyramid Plunder at level 71 or 81 for some of the best experience per hour in the game. If you want a much more detailed run of these, check the link in the description below, where I will be doing a few live runs for the footage used in this video. As always, I will give you the basics here. Copy as much as you can from the setup you see on screen, prioritizing a Serpentine Helmet, HP Cape, Regent Bracelet, a Pharaoh Scepter, Graceful Pieces. If you don't want to buy the helmet, take antidotes in your inventory. You are also going to take an emergency teleport, a lockpick, stamina potions, a few prayer potions, and then fill the rest of your inventory with food, leaving a little bit of empty space for the items we will get inside. Buy a few golden scarabs from the Grand Exchange, and go to the pyramid in Sophanim where the activity takes place. Use your empty Pharaoh Scepter on the mummy, and it will offer to recharge your item for said golden loot. Once recharged, you can teleport here directly. The number of charges goes up with each tier of the Desert Diary. Once inside, simply click on the walls at the beginning of each room. Check the gold chest in the middle, and get started on the doors in each room to make your way to the next one. The general idea is to make it to the last 2 rooms you have access to, so you can start stealing. If you're level 71, you will camp rooms 5 and 6, at 81 you will do rooms 6 and 7, and at 91 do rooms 7 and 8. When you make it to the last 2 rooms, start clicking on all of the urns. You will either steal some items off of them, or get bitten by a snake. If this happens, just click on the urns until you are successful. When time runs out, you will be teleported outside, and you can find the mummy to start the activity once again. This is a great activity to include in a bingo event, as I'm sure nobody is going to gain upwards of 9 thieving levels by going dry when hunting for the Pharaoh Scepter. Pretty much the only time in these guides you will see me repeat a training method will be for Ardy Knights. Instead of doing this at level 70 plus, we will do it at 95 for one particular reason. At this level, and if you have completed the medium Ardy Diary, you will have a 100% success rate when pickpocketing Ardy Knights. You can then contact mods or admins at the Thieving Host Friends chat to ask for a 95 plus world. Once you make it there, you will find someone typically in full Justiciar and a Din's Bulwark tanking the Ardy Knight for 6 hours at a time, as everyone around them will spam click the knight without being stunned. This is an absolute godsend. I did from 95 to 99 for upwards of 240,000 experience per hour with good clicks and the pouch mechanics. And it is, in my opinion, the best way to close out your thieving training. We start the alternative methods at level 1 in case you don't want to do any questing. You will be pickpocketing from men and women from 1 to 5, and then back to bakery stalls from 5 to 25. It could be less tedious than questing, but those initial quests will be huge for the beginning of your account to pass up. You can start pickpocketing Virus and Darkmare at level 85. With full rogue's outfit, you could snag yourself a double blood shard drop, but realistically speaking, the rest of their pickpocketing table is absolute garbage. That blood shard rate is not very attractive, so I am personally not a huge fan of this method, but still give it a go whenever you can. And speaking of not being a fan of something, it's almost the same case with Elves at Pickpocketting. This time we are looking for their expensive drop being the Enhanced Teleport Seed. This is needed to break down into crystal shards to recharge armor or corrupt the Bofa, so these will always be on high demand. Keep in mind that even with your Gloves of Silence and the Dodgy Necklace, it will be pretty annoying as you hunt for either the Crystal or the Thieving Cape. We close out this category with yet another annoying method, and this time we are heading to the city of Mor Ulrek to pickpocket from Tzhaars. Equip your ice gloves with nearly the same setup as before, and knock yourself out. This is mostly used post 99 for experience, but not too bad of a choice if you're looking for extra gems, toggle, and of course a decent experience per hour, even after all of the failed pickpockets. Alright, time for the juicy part. We are now looking at a few ways to get to level 99 regarding fastest experience, profit, enjoyable methods, and of course AFK. All of these will start at level 50 because of the initial questing and fruit stalls, which you should always do regardless of which one you pick. The way I did it goes as follows. Blackjacking from 50 to 71, Pyramid Plunder from 71 to 95, and finally my beautiful Ardy Knights from 95 to 99. It was one of the fastest and most chill experiences for any 99, although, as I've said many times before, heavily click intensive. To avoid the low alking yourself, you can mix and match it just like the guide. 50 to 65 with Blackjacking or Artefacts, back to Blackjacking from 65 to 71 or 81, Pyramid Plunder from 71 or 81 to 95, and Ardy Knight from 95 to 99. Statistically speaking, the fastest experience looks something like this. 50 to 65 with Artifacts, 65 to 91 with Blackjacking, and the 91 to 99 through Pyramid Plunder. We are skipping all the normal pickpockets because stun timers can get pretty bad. For the least amount of effort needed, you will go from 50 to 65 with Root Stalls, and then focus on one-click Summer Garden from 65 to 99 since you will only need the 2 clicks per action. This is also a decent way to get Rocky, the Thieving Pet. And finally, for the most profitable yet painful way to get the Thieving Cape, I would recommend doing Blackjacking from 50 to 85, Virus at Darkmare from 85 to 90, and Elves at Pickpocketting from 90 to 99 for chances at the Blood Shard and the Enhanced Teleport Seed respectively. Just be advised, you won't be making an obscene amount of cash. Ladies and gentlemen, that's pretty much it for the Thieving Guide. Thank you so much for coming and for making it this far. If you did, make sure to tell me how you would get level 99 Thieving or if you already have it. A massive thank you to all the channel members. Your extra support goes a long way, and the family and I cannot thank you enough for it. If you would like to be part of the list of legends, click the join button below and see all of the cool perks and rewards you can get in the videos, in the live streams, and of course in the Discord. Stay tuned for the next video, and of course for the next 1 to 99 guide, where I will show you how to achieve mastery in the ranged skill. Have an amazing day, have an amazing week, and I will see you then. Peace.